Hi, it's Jan Marie Dorr, and I help coaches and women entrepreneurs grow their client base and grow their income online by creating coaching programs and online courses. So today, my video is about perfectionism, and I'm wondering if perfectionism might be holding you back, and if so, I'm going to tell you some things you can do if it is, because for a lot of women I know, that's one thing that really gets in the way. So if you found yourself procrastinating on putting yourself out there, so that your clients can find you, which is one thing we need to do. And I know I've seen a lot of clients and myself over the years as well. You know the things you need to do, but maybe you're not doing them. And so this is a sign. There's several signs that perfectionism could be holding you back. It's very subtle. It's something that goes under the radar sometimes, and we don't really recognize it as such because it shows up in different forms. But also, if you're struggling with making decisions about what to do next, that's another sign. I'll talk to you about that, about making faster decisions. And so these are signs that perfectionism could be holding you back. And if you're confused, you're indecisive, you're procrastinating, overwhelmed, any of those things, very, very subtle. They feel very real, and they are, because we're in them. We're right, involved and tied up in them. But it's a sneaky way for perfectionism to show up and stop you and hold you back. And your precious time gets wasted, and the people who need you aren't getting your help if that's happening. So what do you do? I'll talk to you about that. And there's 3 shifts I recommend you make to move through this idea of perfectionism possibly holding you back. And so one thing is to look at where you might be overwhelmed. That's the one way it shows up. So again, overwhelm feels real, and often it is. We're often taking on more than we're able to do. We don't have enough time, and we've got this big to-do list. So you're feeling really overwhelmed, and you're trying to do too much. You've got a list of things that you feel you have to do. And so one thing you can do there is list out all the things that you feel you have to do, where you're feeling overwhelmed, and then look at that list and try to prioritize, pick the top 3. Definitely look at what are the money-making activities. Those are the ones I often see go to the bottom of the list, or we don't realize that those are getting lost in the shuffle. You're focusing on all the busy work, maybe too much time on social media, all those things that can get in the way. And so move up to the top of the list, things that you want to prioritize that could make you money, and start to reduce that overwhelm. Let go of a number of things. Maybe they're not really important. They're not moving you closer to your goals. They end up being just busy work. And so look at that list. Just make a short list, maybe what's on your list that's overwhelming you right now. So that's one thing to do. The second thing I recommend is getting comfortable with what I call imperfect action. So this is the counterpart to perfectionism, is getting comfortable with imperfect action. So what do I mean by that? It basically means just do it. Just get on with it and do what you want to do. You're thinking about, well, should I do this? Am I going to do that? And you think about it for days and weeks, and before you know it, a month has gone by and you still haven't taken that action because you want to get it just right. And I know I can relate to that myself. Anything I talk about, I've always experienced firsthand myself. That's how I know about it. So what I'll encourage you to do is take what I call imperfect action. Just do it. Just put yourself out there. Maybe challenge yourself to put yourself out there as well. Step up in the way you want to be visible, the way you want to connect with potential clients, the way you want to get your message out there. And definitely it is, it can be imperfect to begin with, but even if it's 80% there, you can still strive for excellence or, really high quality. But perfectionism is, it's a real trap because you can never really achieve that. You'll never get there, and you're always striving to get there. So challenge yourself to take imperfect action on anything you're considering doing. And I just talked about making your list where you're overwhelmed and prioritizing, especially those money-making activities. So there's a place to take imperfect action. What's one thing that would move you closer to your goal, whether it's getting some new clients, getting your message out there, inviting people into conversations to work with you, whatever that is, and then just take action, just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. People want the connection, they don't want perfection. And then the third thing that's really, really important to help you move through perfectionism is to start trusting your intuition more. Intuition is actually one of our spiritual faculties that we're gifted with, and very important for women. And I see it being overlooked. We're often too much in our heads. I know I've been guilty of that as well. And so I have a practice where I get more in touch with my intuition. And this helps me make faster, better decisions. So those intuitive decisions, they're usually the best ones, rather than overthinking, in your head. You're going back and forth. Should I, shouldn't I? What should I do? So drop down into your intuition. Journaling often helps with this. I have a morning journaling practice that I do for this particular reason, to get in touch with what's my intuition guiding me to do. What is my intuition saying is the next step for me? Or what's the message I could share today that would make a difference for people? So start trusting your intuition more. This will help you make faster, better decisions. It will move you beyond that procrastination of perfectionism, trying to get it just right, or staying in indecision. That's a huge energy drain, to not make decisions about the things you want to do. So if you trust your intuition, drop down, trust it. You can do it throughout the day, anytime you're faced with a decision, or morning. I find is a great time. First thing in the morning, do some journaling. Just ask yourself, get in touch with your intuition. So those are my 3 shifts, my 3 tips I recommend that you take in order to move through perfectionism if you feel that's holding you back. So the first was look at where you feel overwhelmed, try to reduce that. The second one was get comfortable with imperfect action. And then third one is start trusting your intuition to make better decisions. So that's it for today. That's my tips. I'll encourage you, if you want to move your business forward, be sure to grab a copy of my roadmap. It's called the Booked Up Coach Roadmap. You'll see the link down below, or it's at janmariedor.com/roadmap. So grab a copy of that if you don't have it yet. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.